Well guys, here she is. It's the Tarte Shape Tape that's like the weird unicorn concealer that nobody can get their hands on. So I'm gonna keep this. I do really like this. I did a review on it if you want to go see it. It was my, no! It was my most recent video before this one. So definitely, oh well, I can just throw in the washer. So yes, I'm gonna keep this. I got it in the lightest shade, and it is fairly light, as you can see there. I do like the applicator, and I feel like with this guy, you don't need very much product to get going. This stays on forever without creasing, and it is insane. Like, it looks like you put it on, and then 12 hours later, it looks like you just put it on. Like, the rest of your makeup can be like flying off your face and you look like shit, but damn girl, your concealer looks fly. It is crazy. So if you can get your fingers or hands or toes or whatever on the Shape Tape, I highly recommend it. Yeah, the coverage is also pretty fabulous. So yeah. Okay, next step. This is the Quo Easy Cover Up Stick. And like I said before, I don't know what that was, like an elf, whatever. So this one looks like this. It's very, very light. I really like how light it is. And for whatever reason, this is like one of the creamiest concealers ever. I don't know how they did this, but this is an extremely creamy concealer, and I really, really like it. If you're in Canada and you go to Shoppers, I do suggest this guy. It is crazy. I want to go back and see if they have a darker one that I could maybe contour with. So this is Lise Wachier's brand new Teint Lumiere Complexion Perfecting Concealer with Diamond Lumiere Complex. I haven't tried this yet. I just got this. It's brand spanking new. Let's take a look at the color, shall we? This is the lightest shade. We'll have to see how that one goes. But I've heard some pretty good things about it, and Lise Wachier rarely does me bad, so we'll see how that guy goes. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so next one here, this is the Quo Illuminating Concealer. I used this a couple times and I fucking hated it. I feel like I liked the shade. Yeah, I did. I felt like it was brightening, but it literally stuck to every patch that I had, and you can already see here, it's kind of hard like to blend out. Like if it was easier to blend out and it didn't it drags on your skin and it's too thick, and I don't know, it just looks really bad underneath your eyes, but I really like the shade, so it sucks, but I'm gonna have to give this guy the whole heave-ho. Next one, this is the Trick and Treatment. This is by Soap and Glory. I don't think I've tried this. No, I don't believe I have, so I'm gonna have to give this one a go. The color looks okay. It's really yellow, so if there's anybody out there that is looking for like a really yellow, lighter concealer, this one looks very, very yellow on the skin, on my hand. So I'm gonna have to use this one and get back to you guys on that one. Okay, next one I have, this is the NYX HD Concealer. This is an amazing concealer. This is the lightest shade, of course. I don't find that it's actually all that, like, it's not the lightest shade, but if you do find that you really like this one and you want a lighter shade, get the lavender shade, because if you're really, really pale, you'll be able to pull that one off and it'll conceal and highlight for you. But I feel like this is a really good concealer. I find that it blends out really nice. It's got pretty good coverage. It's just an all-around, and it's affordable, and just an all-around very lovely concealer, so I will be keeping this one as well. This is the L'Oreal True Match, Perfect Match, I don't know. This is an amazing amazing concealer. This is probably one of my like top 3 drugstore concealers. It's so good. This one might all be gone because I used it. Oh, there's a little bit left in there. This is the concealer that I used to use on a daily basis before I was like ridiculous about makeup. And this concealer has never, ever, ever led me astray. This is like, if you're looking for an amazing concealer, it's brightening, it's like luminizing almost. It looks amazing underneath the eyes. Go with the L'Oreal True Match. It's so good. This is the Sephora Gel Serum Concealer. I really like this concealer. I love the shade. I like the lightness of the shade. I find that it brightens really nice. I feel it's really hydrating. This is a really good, and it's not super expensive. I like the applicator. I like the packaging. Yeah, this is one of my favorite concealers. It's great. This is the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. Everybody and their mom has this one again. I have it in the lightest shade. Just like everybody else, I do like this, so I'm gonna keep it. I also like having these on hand, just for reference for videos, blog posts, whatever. So yeah, she's staying. Okay, this is the Body Shop Lightening Touch Concealer. I feel bad because I've never tried this. So it's a pretty pink concealer. It doesn't look like it has much coverage, but this could be one of those concealers that you put on. It looks like a highlighter, to be honest. Ooh, yeah. Lightening Touch. Yeah, I think this is a highlighting. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this and I'm gonna use it because this is definitely not a concealer. This is like a liquid highlighter. I don't know if you can see that, but it's very pretty though. Okay, next up, this is the Arganwear BB Concealer. This is from Physicians Formula. Yeah, I feel like this one's way too dark. I like the formula of this concealer. I like the formula of like the BB cream that goes with this concealer, but it's too dark for me. Like it's ridiculous. So it's gonna have to. These are brand new. These are the Vichy Taunt Ideal. Did I have these? Is a concealer. One of them is like a brightening. It doesn't have a shade. It's like a brightener and a concealer in one. I have not tried these yet. These are brand new. So I will be keeping these and I will be trying them. Gosh, and this is Click and Conceal. I think this might be, no, this is just the normal one. I don't know how I feel about this one. I don't remember. It feels kind of thick. I'm not sure that I love the color. It's kind of yellow. Sometimes when stuff is too yellow, it makes me look kind of sallow, like sick almost. I'm not the biggest. I'm gonna, what should I do, you guys? I think I'm gonna let this guy go. I don't reach for it. The shade is not the best for me. I mean, it's in the lightest shade, of course, but I just don't feel like this is something that I'm gonna be reaching for, so I'm gonna declutter this. Okay, next up, this is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Brush On Glow. This is an amazing product. I really like the shade of this concealer, and it's very, very hydrating, and it highlights really, really nice. I find that it has a really, really nice shade. It blends out easy, and it has nice coverage as well. This one I also find would look really good on more mature skin as well. So again, one of the more pricier ones, but a definite excellent option. I really like the packaging. It's very classy, and I like the applicator, so it will be staying with me. This is the L'Oreal True Match. This is in the W123 Fair. Yeah, I think this one might just be too yellow. These yellowy concealers, like super, super yellow like that, they just don't look the greatest. So, and you know what? I know that my mom uses this concealer, so I think I'm going to give it to her. and I know that she'll use it and put it to good use. So it's gonna go in the declutter pile. This is the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer. Everybody knows about this. Everybody and their mother and their father and their cat and their fish and their snake and their pet rock has one of this. This is in NC15. This is one that is like really, it matches my, this one is really brightening for me. The coverage is like, it's such a good coverage. This is a really good concealer. Everybody knows about this. This was such a crazy, like, everybody has this. Plus, the only thing I don't like about it is the applicator, and that's usually a pretty common issue. It's just really hard to get a smaller amount out, and you do not need a lot with this. Like, less is more with this, guys, 100%. Okay. Next up, this is the L'Oreal Lift Blur Concealer. I'm pretty sure I actually really like this concealer. As you can already see, it's not as yellow. Yeah, this has a lot of coverage. It's hydrating. I find that it lasted a really long time, and it doesn't have that weird yellow undertone in it that makes you look like you're sick or something. You also get so much product in this, so it's a really good value option. I have it in the light fair, which I believe is the lightest shade. So if you're really, really pale, it's not gonna work the greatest for you, but porcelain pale, if you're pale like me, which is fairly pale, this will work for you. And I do feel like it does blur, and you know, yeah, this is also made for more mature skin, so this one is a good option. Next up is the Kat Von D concealer. These are her new concealers. I thought in the video that I did on this, people got so mad. The girl at Sephora told me that this was the whitest white shade, and when I looked at it, it looked like the whitest shade. Now I know it's not. It's the lightest skin tone shade. So if you're super pale, this is obviously gonna work for you. I've debated picking up the white one and just testing that one out, but this is a more thick formula. It has amazing coverage. I find that, I don't know how it will work if you have a lot of wrinkles or fine lines. It might settle into those because of how thick it is, but I do find it's not that hard to blend out as long as you're quick with it. And I prefer warming this up with my fingers and then going in with the Beauty Blender, and I find that that works best. So I'm gonna be keeping this one. Yeah, this is the L'Oreal Magic Lumi Concealer. This one is like that other L'Oreal one that I showed you, but this one is just a little bit, this one has a little bit more highlight in it. This one I also like because you can see it's got more of the pink undertone. I will be keeping this one. It's a lighter one. It doesn't have, if you're looking for something that has like a crazy amount of coverage, this is not the concealer for you, but if you're wanting something that's light and will brighten you up during the day. Okay, this is the Urban Decay Naked Skin. This is in Fair Neutral. I believe it's the fairest shade. I usually have to get the fairest concealer shade. This is what this shade is. It's a little bit yellow. I do like this concealer. It's not in my top 3 even. I don't really understand the hype around this one. Probably because it's got that more yellow undertone. It's not as bad as some other ones that I have in here, but this one does have really good coverage. It's pretty lightweight. I find that it stays on for a good amount of time. But other than that, like, I mean, it's not, like I said, I've got others that I like just as well. And when that one's done, I can't see myself repurchasing it, but it's okay. Everybody else seems to love it and wants to shove it so far up their ass so they can puke it up. Okay, ooh, this is another Gosh Click and Conceal. This one is in green. Wow, that made a mess. That is bright. Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna have to keep this just to test that out because I don't know if I've tested it out, but that is some bright ass green. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. I will try it out and see if that green actually works or if it's crazy green or what. Art Deco is a high-end European brand that we can get here in Canada at some shoppers. I have a lot of their products. I have been slowly collecting over the last 2 years or so, and I really like their makeup. I find that it is extremely well made. I just love them so much as a brand. So this is their Mineral Fluid Concealer. I took this with me last year to Disneyland and it was amazing. It's not as yellowy as you can kind of see, and I feel like this had really good coverage. It stayed put in the heat, yet it wasn't cakey and it didn't crease. It was really easy to blend out. A little goes a long way. I really like the packaging. I like the applicator. You get a lot of product in here. It's a really solid concealer and I highly recommend if you can get Art Deco. They have amazing face products and amazing concealers. This is the Rimmel Wake Me Up Anti-Fatigue. Obviously I've used this since there's like, or maybe, I don't know, I just don't really remember anything about it. I think I'll keep it and try it out because it has less of the super yellowy, and I think I actually didn't mind this concealer. So I think I'll hold on to this guy and see how it goes. This is the YSL Touche Éclat. This is like, everybody knows about this concealer. It's a really, really great concealer. It's expensive, but it's a really, really nice one. I'm not a huge fan of the click packaging, to be honest. I find it kind of annoying. I do like the applicator, and this is also a really nice shade. I would like it if they made a little bit of a brighter shade, but this is extremely, like, it's not cakey at all. It's very natural looking. Your skin looks so beautiful, so refreshed with this stuff. If you've ever thought about trying this out, I definitely suggest it. I feel like it's a concealer that everybody needs to at least try once in their life and see if they like it. I love it. Okay, this is the L'Oreal Visible Lift. This actually still has its packaging on. I have not tried this yet, so I'm gonna keep it. This is another Art Deco concealer. This is their Perfect Tong Concealer. This one I like more than the last one I talked to you about. I don't know if you can see how creamy and amazing that is, but this concealer is just like, it is so freaking amazing. I love the shade. I love the pink shade. It is so hydrating. It is a lot goes a long way again. It's got really good coverage. It doesn't sink into any fine lines. It doesn't crease. If you have an issue with fine lines and creasing, this is definitely a concealer that I would suggest for you. It's very natural looking, yet it has amazing coverage. I don't know what kind of magic they put in there, but this is probably one of my favorite concealers. It's so good. This is the brand new concealer that they just put out. This is their long wear concealer that's waterproof. I really like this shade as well. They do have more not so yellow. This one is not as creamy as the last one as I just showed you, but this one does have really nice coverage. It's very natural. I like the new packaging that they have. I find that it's very classy looking. And this is another solid concealer, but the other one, the previous one, is still my favorite by far. The next one up, this is the CoverGirl Ready Set Get Gorgeous. So a lot of people don't like this concealer, and the only reason that I like it is because of this shade. It is a very, very pale concealer. So if you're pale and you need to find a shade that works for you, that's drugstore, this is definitely one of them. It doesn't have super coverage. A little bit goes a long way. I find that it can be a little bit patchy sometimes, and I find that it sticks to dry patches if you're not properly moisturized. So what I would recommend this for, if you're in high school and you're going through oily skin and you're really pale, this is definitely something that I would suggest trying out. You just have to be really good with it when you're blending it and make sure that you blend it really well. I'm going to keep this and use this. I probably would not repurchase it, but I do want to use it up before I get rid of it. This is the Bare Minerals Stroke of Light. I don't use this by itself as a concealer just because it doesn't have enough coverage, but I do like the pink undertone, and I do find applicator is also a little bit flimsy. It's really long, as you can see. Most Most concealers don't have this long ass applicator. Not that it really matters, but I find that this is really, really easy to blend out, and it really, really brightens up that under eye. Sometimes when I don't want to wear makeup and I just want to put eyebrows and maybe some concealer on, so this just has enough coverage to get me through, you know, whatever I'm doing, going to the grocery store, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, so really like this. We'll be keeping it. Next up we have, this is from BH Cosmetics. This is their waterproof concealer stick in Fair. I don't like this at all. This is the worst stick concealer I've ever used. Can you see how hard I'm pressing? Like I'm hurting myself. It's so hard, it's so dry, it's so difficult to use that it kills your under eyes. I would never suggest this to anyone, so it is going goodbye. We have the Becca Aqua Luminous Foundation. This is a newer foundation that I really, really like. This is the fairest shade. It is a little bit more yellow than I usually go for, but I really, really like this. I find that it blends out magically. It is so hydrating for your under eyes. It has a decent amount of coverage. It's not full coverage whatsoever, but it looks really good under your eyes. I would suggest this for people that have more mature skin as well. This is a Vapor Beauty concealer stick. I haven't tried this one yet. I just got it for PR. So I'm going to be keeping that, and I will keep you guys. So this is the Dior Skin Flash Booster Pen. This is a really good concealer. I really like the shade. This is one that I use quite often. I like the packaging. I like the clicky packaging. As you can see, it's another one that's not super, super yellow. Dior does amazing concealers. This one is a lot more hydrating than the other one, and it's a lot, I find that it brightens up a lot more than the other Dior concealer that I showed you. This one is just so good. If you have dry under eyes, this will be your best friend. This is the Maybelline Master Conceal. This is a pretty decent drugstore concealer. It is very full coverage. I feel like this is almost like, the Pro Longwear. Like it's got extreme coverage. Can you see that? Like it's crazy. The hard candy one is very similar to this as well. I'm gonna keep this one because this one is such, you can actually wear this underneath your eyes. It's probably the fullest coverage concealer I have that will work underneath your eyes, especially since my Glam Massage hard candy one exploded. So I'm gonna keep this, and I have it in the fairest shade. Ugh. Okay. Next up, this is the Makeup Forever Ultra HD. This is in Y21. If you are very fair and have problems finding a fair concealer, this one is super fair. I don't know if you can see that, but damn, that bitch is fair. It is like white. I love this concealer. It's got really nice coverage. I find that it lasts a really long time for me. A little bit, when I say a little bit, I mean an extreme little bit, goes a long, long way. It doesn't wrinkle on me. It doesn't stick to dry patches. I love this concealer. It's one of my top concealers. I just love it. Like, look at that. It's so good. If you have a ton of texture, it might show up a little bit, but I think it depends on, you know, what you're using to blend it out with, blah, blah, blah. I always use a beauty blender just so I can shear it out a little bit because it can be a little bit intense sometimes. All right, this is the e.l.f. Under Eye Concealer and Highlighter. This is the most awful thing in the whole world. This concealer does not do anything. It just sticks to stupid dry patches, and it basically just like rubs away to nothing, and so does the highlighter. I have never hated an e.l.f. product so much as I hate this thing. The packaging is ridiculous. The little applicators actually hurt. Like, it hurts to use these. And I don't know if you can see that, but it's pink because any powder you have underneath, if you want to use this as a highlight, it will just take that right off. And it'll scrape your skin in the meantime. And then it just blends away to nothing anyway, and it makes you kind of look weird and pale. So this is definitely going out of my collection, and it can kiss my white ass goodbye. This is the Bobbi Brown. This is in Light Bisque 2. This is one of their correctors, And this is amazing if you're pale and you want to brighten up. It actually adds some coverage, it brightens stuff up. If you don't moisturize properly, it will start to kind of stick to stuff underneath your eyes. So you just have to be aware of that. So if you have extremely dry under eyes, not something I would really suggest. And I also don't know how it would work with really mature skin, because sometimes I find that it can settle into fine lines and whatnot. So this is one that I just really have to work with, but I'm gonna finish it and then I probably will not repurchase this again. Okay, this is Maybelline Better Skin. This is in Ivory. This is a really good drugstore concealer as well. I like the shade. It is a little more yellow, but I still really like it. I find that it has good, it has good natural coverage. It's not too heavy. I found it blended out decently. It had a decent wear time. Again, I find a really good drugstore concealer. It's not my favorite from the drugstore, but definitely one that I would recommend. Again, like I said, keeping it, gonna use it, but I probably wouldn't repurchase it. This is the Joe Fresh Illuminating Concealer. This is an amazing concealer. I love it. I love Joe Fresh. Their makeup is awesome. So it's no wonder that I like it because it's pink. I find that it's really natural looking. It doesn't have the most coverage, but I don't tend to need a ton of coverage, which is why I like this so much. I like the packaging. It's got an amazing price range. It's like $8 and you get a lot in here. I don't know if you have really oily skin. This might break up on you, so just be aware of that. Next up, this is Flower Beauty. I haven't used this in a while. Yeah, I think I might pass this guy out of my collection. It just looks way too yellow. I found that it was way too thick. It didn't blend out well, and you know, it didn't have the coverage that usually a thicker concealer will have. So I just found if it's going to be hard to work with, at least have coverage, and this wasn't the case. So because such is my life, my battery died and I only had 2 more concealers left to talk about. So this is why I'm at this weird camera angle, because I took my tripod and everything down and I just really don't want to put it back up for 2 concealers. So this is the Smashbox High Definition Concealer. I really like this concealer. I do not like the packaging. This one has So this one has, I would say, medium coverage. It blends out really nice. It's really good for dry skin, dry under eyes. If you're oily, I really wouldn't suggest this because it is kind of, it's way more hydrating. Like I said, yeah, it doesn't have the greatest coverage, but I do really like this. I feel like it looks really natural. It doesn't sink into any fine lines. It really looks really nice on those days when you just kind of want to slap something on. But like, again, like I said, if you are oily, this is not going to be your friend. Also recommend for mature skin. This looks really great on camera, but it will have some flashback if you're using flash photography, so just keep that in mind. So because Smashbox does have, I have a few other concealers by them that I like a whole crap ton better. This one, I'm going to finish it, but I wouldn't repurchase it. Just wanted to put that in there. Okay, and then last one is the Stila Aqua Glow Serum Concealer. I was really excited for this concealer to come out. It is a really nice concealer. This is another one I would not recommend for oily skin types. Again, don't like the packaging. It's got this weird, like, I don't even know what the hell this is. They're trying to be all different, and it's like, why? This is the lightest shade. It's not extremely light or anything. I feel like they definitely missed the boat on, you know, they don't have enough shades of the product. It also looks really good. It's really natural. It's very glowy. I find that it doesn't crease or sink into fine lines. It doesn't do highlighting for me. Like, it's pretty much very close to my skin tone. So this is another one that I can use and just throw it on when I'm wanting to have a very low-key natural day. Don't think I would repurchase this one. I will use it. I do like it, but I have others that I like way better. So yes, that's it. I will show you guys. This is what I'm keeping. I know that's ridiculous. This is what I'm getting rid of, but I'm actually pretty proud of myself because honestly, I didn't think I was gonna have this much to declutter. So if you see me buy any more concealers, yeah, just smack me in the face, no worries. So that's it, guys. If you have any questions, comments, please leave them in the comment section below. If you've tried any of these, hate them, like them, love them. If there was a concealer in, if you have concealer that you love that wasn't in here, let me know below to check it out. Hope you guys enjoyed this. May the force be with you, and I will see you in my next video. Peace.